Hi guys, welcome to Manhood Explained. My name is Camille. Today is 7th of April 2021. Welcome to video number 306. And today I want to talk about a key to men or key to manhood in a relationship. See, I told you before that I'm kind of trying to go through manhood in general in today's world. We are in kind of a crazy situation because of the situation of manhood itself, and where it ended up being now with this, sexual revolution 2.0 and extreme feminism and this whole geopolitical craziness that's going on with the PC and in general, like a political situation. And interestingly enough, we ended up in really weird spot, and that's why this whole manhood kind of revolution wakes up, and all these things like red pill and MGTOW and all that stuff. It's like a reaction from guys to what's happening. And you see, I was kind of surprised, maybe not surprised, but I kind of seen that we are leaning towards this like really hardcore manhood. Like we go to some degree, we're going back to this kind of macho approach, and it has its positive sides, but some of the guys are going too far, and some of the things that MGTOW says is like, I don't really agree with this to some degree. But I would start thinking, because I'm kind of on the other side of the spectrum, so I start to think, is that a bad thing that half of the men's population is basically not this kind of guys, and that half of men are basically the nice guys? Is that a bad thing? Because if we look and being like, again, over exaggerate, right? There are two types of men. One is the bad boy, the guy who's basically always been in the midst of the group. He was the hero of the court, and there was always tons of girls around him. There's this guy who was very handsome, and he was very popular, and he was always the star, right? And the other extreme is the nice guy, someone who is quiet and kind of in the shadows, in the background. Those guys are always very friendly. They're gonna do everything for the girl. Then they'll sacrifice everything just to help her if she needs. They will open the door. They will go for shopping. They'll do everything. They sacrifice themselves to help them. And there are like two extremes. But if you look close enough, interesting thing is that ladies want those two extremes at the same time, which is mind-boggling and shocking. And so many guys, and I heard it many, many times, they say, how is that even possible? And how is that fair to kind of ask us to play both roles at the same? Is that even possible? And you see, this is what I started to think about. And today morning, I just basically had this kind of, I don't know, I feel illuminated. This thought just was dropped into my head, and I just started to think about it. And I thought, maybe I think it's something I want to talk about today, so I just decided to record about it. Because you see, the whole idea is that from my perspective, it's not a bad thing. It was like a conscious decision that we were created this way, that there are two extremes, and there's like half of the guys playing that role and half of the guys playing this role. But from my perspective, it kind of become clear that if that's something premeditated, then it means that we are supposed to, that there's a way to play both roles, and it kind of became a hero's journey for every guy, at least for me. That the whole point of getting to maturity is for you and me as a guy to find out on which side of this extreme we are, and how to learn to play the other role, because our ladies want us to be excellent in both at the same time, just knowing where I'm supposed to play that role and when I'm supposed to play that role, when I'm supposed to be a leader, when I'm supposed to be the one who basically draws ladies' attention, just because I'm so confident that I'm able to make happen whatever I need to or I want to, or where I'm supposed to be much more friendly. And the thing that some of the ladies are drawn to, because I need to know how to be a friend, how to be someone who be able to listen, how to be someone who be really be able to be person who knows how to be with you in day-to-day reality. So you see, that's that's the whole thing, the hero's journey. So listen, so we understand that there are two roles and both roles are needed. But to achieve that, we as guys, we need to understand three basic rules. And if you're a lady, you're listening to this, maybe that's going to be helpful for you too. First thing that you need to understand, that you're a giver as a guy. No matter what you think, whatever you do it for your girl. And it's obvious when you're a nice guy. That's like a domain of the nice guys, to do everything for her, even to go even beyond the extreme. But I know many, alpha type of guys, the bad boys, or this kind of guys to extreme, that if they really love their girl, that's obvious, because I'm not talking about guys who don't care, because you had some deeper issues, and this video will be like just scratching the surface. But I know this kind of guys, and when they really love their girls, they're gonna be able to do whatever, no matter how much it'll cost him, he'll do something for her. That's why, and this is always, I like this example, the wars were started just because of women, just because of love. That's how crazy we are for our girls. But if that's not enough for you, think about it. Have you ever, especially if you're a bad boy, have you ever felt satisfied when you had a crazy night with your girl in your bedroom? When you're walking out, you feel, oh great, that was awesome, and she's a meh, or you can see on her face that it wasn't something that she enjoyed. Will you be satisfied? And I'm using this example because this intimacy, physical intimacy, is something most important for us. And that 100% of us will say, if she's not satisfied, I'm not satisfied. That should give you an obvious truth. You're supposed to understand it, that everything that you do at the end of the day, you do for her, because if she shows you that it was great, that you gave her what she needs, you feel satisfied. If she's not, it's just not going to work. So you're a giver. Understand that. Second thing that you need to understand, that something that we probably subconsciously or consciously to some degree we know, but this is so important for ladies. I cannot stress that enough. Men will react amazingly, but only to the positive reinforcement. Again, positive reinforcement. Imagine this situation as a guy. What would be the difference in how you react to things if, and I'll use like really dumb example, and I love to use it because it's dumb, but everybody who was is or was in a relationship know that this happens. I'll use the example of the toilet seat. What would be the difference in between your reaction if she's coming to you and she starts breathing down your neck and nagging you again? You did it again. You didn't close it. Please do that. You would feel angry right away. And this is one thing for you ladies. You've got to understand, negative reinforcement goes completely the opposite way. Don't even think about not allowing her to be intimate with you. That's a subject of its own. But if you do this, try to like a manipulation technique, you're destroying your relationship. But the complete opposite situation is when she'll use a positive reinforcement. And think, how would you feel if she'll say, if you're a bad boy, if she'll come and say, listen, you already know that you didn't close the toilet seat, but she'll come and say, listen, do you remember the last week, or when I was I don't know, changing color of my hair or whatever, you were there, you used the bathroom, and I remember you looking at me, looking at the toilet, closing the seat, and I know that you don't care. I know that it's something that you completely has no meaning to you, but I remember you looked at me and you did because you love me. I knew that you did because of me. And I want you to know that even though it's like a really small thing, when you do this, and I know that you do it purposely because of me, not only I feel that you take care of me, that you're taking me seriously, but even more, I know that I can trust you, because if you can handle the small things, I can trust you with whatever. And if she would tell you this way, this thing this way, tell me that you wouldn't feel like, wow, I feel like a boss. And how would you feel if she would say something to her girlfriends and you would just hear, being there on a party or something, and she would say, you know, this is why I trust my guy, because he's able to handle this whole thing. Because we talked about it, he told me that he's gonna do it, and every time he does this, I feel that I can trust him, and I trust him more just because of these simple, small things. You'd feel like a god amongst people. Am I right? So that's why, if you understand this truth, I want you to help her to understand that positive reinforcement is the way to go. And if you're a lady watching this video, please understand, negative reinforcement is gonna get you completely opposite result that you're looking for. Why? Because if we feel nagged, if we feel attacked, the basic way how men channel pain and discomfort is aggression. We're getting angry because that helps us to deal with things. And at the end of the line of aggression, there's violence. This is one of the main differences in between men and women. So that's why if you're trying to use negative reinforcement, especially as a manipulation technique, you're destroying your relationship. That's that simple. That's why I understand the positive reinforcement will give you much more. Why? Because you play to the things that he needs and plays the things that he wants. And that's a point number 3. You as a guy, you really need to understand, what do you really want? Because you've got to understand, we are somewhere on the scale in between being a bad boy, someone who is narcissistically take care of himself, and that's why he's able to lead to some degree, and that's why at the end it might cause some issues and drama in a relationship because you care more about yourself than her. And in between, being a good boy and being this nice guy who basically cares about everything, but he's not able to lead anything because he's afraid of any confrontation or something. And we're somewhere in between. And for some of us, the most important thing is to feel like a leader. For some of us, the most important thing would be that we can surprise our girl. For some of us, the most important thing will be to hear that she loves us, and what we do makes her love us even more. For some of us, we don't care about words. Some of us, we want to see that she is doing something for us as a kind of saying thank you in physical form. So that's why, if you want to get a positive reinforcement, if you want to kind of help her to understand this, you've got to know, what do you really look for? Because again, maybe you want to feel like a leader, maybe you just want trust. And if you don't get it, no matter what happens, no matter how she wants to show you her love, it's not going to work because you're not getting what you need. And that's going towards 5 languages of love. Maybe some of you know it, maybe some of you don't. Just go to YouTube, 5 languages of love, do the test. It's online, it's free. But you need to understand, everything that you do is for her. And the way to get it to you and the way to help her to get to you is by positive reinforcement. But if you want to help her to use positive reinforcement, you need to know where she's supposed to point this positive reinforcement towards. What do you really need? And let me give you 2 simple examples, maybe just to spark, just to be the beginning for you to go and get this hero journey and get there. If you're a bad boy, the story that I've got for you is something that I learned from my brother. He is sharing that many times, and I love this story. He said some time ago, one of his friends just told him, listen, you want to change the vibe in your relationship? Just buy your girl a flower and give it to her, from time to time. And he said, that's obvious but simple idea. He is much more macho guy than emotional guy, at least from outer shell, or but anyway, because he is riding a bike and driving car a lot of through the city, he basically buys a flower He goes to her workplace, gives her the flower, and leaves. And interestingly enough, he did something outside of his comfort zone, completely on the opposite side. But what it did is, first of all, she felt special, because not many men have balls to go to her workplace and just give her flower in front of everyone. But then he has tons of stories when she felt great, and when some how people change the how they react to him coming into the office with the flower, and then how he has stories when how other ladies reacted to that. It changed not only how she feels at work, but it changed how she feels at home. The same thing on the other side of the spectrum. If you're a guy who's a nice guy, you do everything at home, you just like perfect, teddy bear. But maybe she sees in you that you're lacking ability to lead. Maybe it's a good time for you to schedule holidays, maybe a weekend somewhere. You know that how much it changes the whole vibe, to change the scenery, to just take both of you and do something together, something that you've never done before. Be the one who's not asking questions. The less questions you have to ask, the better. And just take her. Show initiative. And show the initiative and learn how to have this initiative on the opposite side of the spectrum. That's how you learn. That's how you prove to yourself that you have capability to be excellent with both sides, and it's just a matter of experience. So listen, in simple terms, this is what I want you to take from this video. To be able to go through this hero journey and be able to satisfy both sides, both of the needs that your girl wants and needs from both of these extremes as a guys. First of all, you just need, what's your configuration? Which side are you on? What do you need to learn? And second, how to do it. Again, you will do everything for her, and that's how you're supposed to do this. Second, you'll have to use a positive reinforcement or help her understand that that's the way to go. And three, you need to know what you want and where to point this positive reinforcement towards. So think about it and do something about it. Because trust me, if you truly love yourself, it's easier than you think. And what you need is a clarity and action. So like, share, and comment. And if you didn't like it, share and comment as well. Tell me what is your experience, what you're dealing with. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, just give me a shout or DM me. I'll be glad to talk about it for you. That being said, see you in the next video.